This presentation is on C.I. Scofield's contribution to the fundamentalist and modernist controversy in American history. Just a little bit of background on Scofield. He was born in Michigan. He would eventually move to Tennessee by the age of 17 in 1861, and so by the time of the American Civil War, Scofield would join the Confederate Army, and he would serve in the Confederate Army during the war. And then after the war, in 1869, Scofield would pass the bar exam and become a lawyer. And he would eventually move out west and become a United States District Attorney. And then in 1879, Scofield would be converted to Christianity. He became a believer. And then in 1882, Scofield became a Southern Presbyterian minister. And while all this stuff is important, it's his Christian beliefs that would become the greatest impact for America. Scofield's contribution to American Christianity began with his Scofield Bible, in which Scofield took the King James Version of the Bible, and he would add his own notes on the interpretation of the verses from the Bible. And by putting this together in a Bible and selling it, and eventually Scofield would make it into a correspondence course with his friend Dwight L. Moody and the Moody Bible Institute. But Scofield's Bible would give America a new theological view because Scofield would create a dispensational view of history. And Scofield would give us a fundamentalist approach to Christianity. Scofield interpreted the Bible as it was literally written, not as a symbolic literature like other pieces of literature, but it was a literal, inspired book that was to be interpreted literally. One of the movements that would occur in American history that would come out as a result of Scofield's ideas would be the Zionist movement. The Zionist movement would end up convincing numerous Americans that they need to support Israel and the Jews. And so for that reason, many American Christians became Zionists. And one of the famous examples that Scofield's Bible would give for supporting Israel to create the Zionist movement in America was Genesis 12:3. And Scofield's note would say for Genesis 12:3, when God was speaking to Abraham, giving the Abrahamic covenant, Scofield's note said that it has invariably fared ill with the people who have persecuted the Jew, and well with those who have persecuted him or protected him. And so Scofield's idea is that if you look at history will see that anybody who has attempted to persecute Jews or attempted to do anything wrong to Jews will eventually suffer God's wrath. But those who support Israel will end up being blessed by God. And so by the time of Scofield and afterwards, even into 2016 today, the Zionist movement has become an important part of American Christianity, creating large support for the Jews. Another important contribution that Scofield's beliefs would have on American Christianity is the creation of a new view on eschatology. Beginning with Scofield, the idea of a premillennial dispensational view of the end times became popular among Christians, and even to this day remains a very popular theological point for many conservative evangelical Christians. But a premillennial dispensational view of end times says that there will be a series of signs, as prophesied in the Bible, both Old and New Testaments, that will alert believers that the end is coming. And then these signs will ultimately culminate with the rapture, in which all believers will join Christ in the air and be taken to heaven. Next, God will unleash the Great Tribulation, and those left behind will be persecuted and experience terrible things. And then Christ will come back and set up a literal 1,000-year rule on earth. And this viewpoint remains popular today, so much so that many of the charismatic and Pentecostal churches would embrace this viewpoint. And even according to one source, 63% of Southern Baptist ministers would take a premillennial viewpoint. And this is seen even in popular books like the Left Behind series, that we can see it came as a result ultimately of beliefs like Scofield's.